the football fans who watch football, the consumers, the main customers of the game, when they see the people that draw them to see the game, the people that attract them to watch the game, they are spoken.
We are not saying he deserves or not. It was close, but don't come and make it about race. Me, that's what's pissing me off. That Ronaldo thing was very useless statement that he made. Very useless and loose.
Let's talk about Let's talk about
that useless Ronaldo in statement. No? Why he be pink, Ronaldinho they be green. The time they collect it, they don't do that.
The FIFA best has gone to Vinicius Junior.
See, don't make this thing about race. It dey bomb me crowd too much. What
do you mean? Vinicius Junior, captains, national team.
See that thing that Ronaldo go do, the big stomach Ronaldo. See that thing he go do. You are black and you are this. The time he win Ballon d'Or, they be pink. The time Ronaldinho win, he be blue. George Weah, the time George Weah win, George Weah won it in 1995. The height of racism in the Western world and Europe. He win that time now. Then he be green. It be 2024 today.
So your point
that
is
way
what?
We not say.
Your point is what?
What kind of nonsense is this?
Look, if you don't deserve, you don't deserve.
Vinicius doesn't deserve.
They should stop that thing.
Didn't you come here to complain about?
This one, what they went.
But on a more serious note, I don't think it's that straightforward because people, in fact,
the
whole world was split.
He won with the fans.
Over whether Rodri.
It's about the fans.
He won with the fans.
The fans, the way you and I see football, yes. There's no way you were. So me, if I was being part of that award, if I was one of the contestants, I will always jubilate.
The coaches and the media voted for Rodri. The players and the fans voted for Vinicius. In fact, Vinicius won with us the fans.
Because
he got over 1.6 million difference between himself.
Are you saying that they are all Real Madrid fans?
Oh, it's not. They are all Real Madrid fans. Fans are
player no undeserving.
We are not saying he deserves or not. It was close, but don't come and make it about race. Me, that's what's pissing me off. That Ronaldo thing was very useless statement that he made. Very useless and loose statement that he made. When everybody was praising Bellingham, was Bellingham.
What's that? Vinicius, Real Madrid, they finally got what they thought Vinicius deserved.
We said it here at the time that it was too close for anyone to be a clear winner. And for that matter, for anyone to feel they had been voted. If you look at the body of work, there was not light and day between the two. My only disappointment with the Ronaldo comment is, you see, when you trivialize the subject of racism, when it's actually time for people to take that conversation seriously,
thank you.
Nobody will mind.
We've seen it so
because then how do we tell apart the sympathy calls from the actual substance calls? Vinicius didn't miss out on the Ballon d'Or because he was black.
Right.
That can't be true.
I've never thought that was.
No, that can't be true. And all of us said at the time that if you look at the body of work from national team, club football, and all of that, there was not even for the Copa America that Vinicius did not excel there. What he did in La Liga and Champions League still was so significant. It ran him close, right? And whoever was making an argument for each of the three players had something significant to talk about because of what they had accomplished across multiple competitions, which wasn't one. You see, both on an individual level, on a team level. So this was the 1 year where you could look at this and say, whoever gets a challenge, he forced. And that for me is my heartbreak. That beyond, there appeared to be a whole establishment that would boycott the awards. And then beyond the boycotts, certain suggestions that this was deliberate thievery. Well, in fact, 48 hours before that, people had paid money, done a whole TV schedule, taking money from fans to advertise that broadcast. And then when you lose, you start making it. That for me is the issue. And I don't like it when more and more people of substance are adding their voice to that particular narrative.
The race thing.
I don't like it.
I mean, it's not mostly the Brazilians that are pushing that narrative because I think it started from a Brazilian minister, then a Brazilian journalist, now Ronaldo, and I think a few fans.
If anything, we should be happy that the fast that happened with Lionel Messi last year is not the focus of this conversation. Right?
About somebody not deserving.
Look, have you heard anyone from the Spain bloc, especially And see, they don't necessarily have to be. They don't. No, I'm coming. They don't necessarily have to be Rodri fanatics, but your enemy's enemy can be your friend. So they could, just out of the fact that they don't like Real Madrid and Vinicius, also try to pick apart his the case for him and suggest that he doesn't deserve it. But no one is even doing that because Charlie, the thing was close. It was, if Rodri had won this, I would not have been pissed anyway. Yeah, but for sentimental reasons, maybe you could say that, Charlie, because it was so close, if Rodri has taken this one, Vinicius also take this one. There is that. But I'm saying that the other parts are not making the excuses that people were making for Vinicius back then. Now, which is to say that the controversy seems to have shifted, and now the focus was on the two players, what they have done. Only for Ronaldo to then come and see the stuff that he said. But for that, apart from that, I don't really have too many issues with look. Because all of the other aspects, like the team of the year goalkeepers and those things, they can be subjective.
Okay.
I only complain in years where there are too many instances of players being deserving and not making the team. Right. That's why even for the CAF Awards, the list that came out and Kalidou Koulibaly's name found itself there, but Edmond Tapsoba, who was part of that history-making by Leverkusen
It's
team.
fans who vote for the team.
Exactly. So when you look at even the electoral college for some of those categories, you realize that the voting pattern of fans are very different from the voting pattern of journalists, very different from players and national team coaches. So if you look at the coaches, a lot of them often do not look at the entertainment value players bring to the game.
That's a football boring.
Right? A lot of the coaches don't really care about the players that excite us. So more often than not, their interest is in very functional. The other day, someone was asking me the explanation for why Rafael Benitez, after coaching all the exciting players in his time, from Valencia to Real Madrid to all of that, thinks that Steven Gerrard is the best player he has played. And I said, it's simple. For them, they prioritize functionality more on every other quality. Even if someone can do that and still provide the entertainment or the aesthetic value of the game like Cristiano did, they wouldn't care about that. They would prefer that kid they can control, who is sort of an extension.
That's what football is.
So for them, when I look at their voting, the choices they will make will be completely different from what the players and even the fans would make. So, but apart from that, I think it went where it was supposed to go. Every other person deserved what they got.
For me, I didn't see any player who was more impactful than Vinicius Jr. on the calendar. I've always maintained that Rodri's is a spillover from the treble season. He was so good then he didn't win, and people have carried that miracle.
It's almost like we owe him.
Like, see, that year that Rodri didn't win, Rodri or Haaland blew. It was pure team. And his performance didn't dip, or even if it did, just a couple of levels, or he maintained. Right? I don't think he was as significant as it was the season round. So Rodri's Ballon d'Or thing was a spillover, and I said it here. Now, for me, when Vinicius played, the way I like to consume football, it was him, and I'm not surprised that is why when fans start to vote, because when fans are watching football, these days the coaches they overdo. That is why, for me, I agree with many people who consider football to be boring, because the very thing that got us off our seats, right, are no more in the game. And that's as a result of coaches. They've made the game very robotic. They've made the game very calculated.
Yeah.
Football is really more boring to watch now, to be honest. Very automatic. So coaches will look at a player like Rodri, because in the modern day football, that is who they want as a coach. Not a player like Vini most often.
Yeah.
But when the footballers stand on the pitch and see what Vini does with the ball, the players know that this guy is a baller.
Yeah.
Rodri
on a different level.
We appreciate him. And when the media people who are always engaging these coaches in the presses and they write all these articles about, they want to talk like Rodri. But when the football fans who watch football, the consumers, the main customers of the game, when they see the people that draw them to see the game, the people that attract them to watch the game, they are spoken.
They have spoken.
But again, I have a problem with so what? Did they just add the votes and declare the winner, or there were percentages for categories. So let's say,
there were percentages.
There were percentages allocated for each.
And then brilliant. Because I was looking at that. So for me, I've always maintained that no player, in my opinion, played better than. But I can also understand why Rodri in the end won the Ballon d'Or. It was close. It could have gone either way. And Ballon d'Or now are partnering UEFA. If UEFA is UEFA Ballon d'Or, this year was UEFA Ballon d'Or. UEFA's biggest competition was the Euros.
Yeah.
I don't think Rodri had a
made that point before.
I don't think Rodri had a great Euros. For me, the Euros.
He said he wasn't even Spain's best player.
Bro, he scored against Georgia, the fourth goal against Georgia or something.
Not the fourth goal, the equalizer.
So I've always said that.
Let me fair
He scored what?
He scored the
It was a
equalizer.
No?
Let me fair to
Yeah,
He scored the equalizer against Georgia.
He scored the equalizer.
Cheap game.
See where he plays. If he scores, it's a problem.
You to cheap agenda. You to cheap agenda.
Cheap agenda.
You to cheap agenda.
Rodri
Cheap agenda.
Rodri-
You go give her 4
you go
goals.
give her
Really, let's go.
Rodri was talking to
You are if your party way.
Cheap agenda. You go give her. You go give her cheap agenda. You go give her 4 goals.
in Georgia.
He scored against the best goalkeeper in the competition.
John. See. Rodri himself
Slotto
said
sign up. Slotto sign up.
Oh, you better thank you for the understanding.
And he said, you point at him more than 10 times. When did he talk anything?
No, you see, no, look, I appreciate Rodri. That he scored a goal and all of that. But I've always said that I knew you're a coach, you better know this. I don't even want us to do that. But the Rodri, he doesn't play DM. I swear.
Yeah, he did play DM.
He's so multi-talented.
He did play DM.
He's so much.
You know what?
You know when we would have seen.
Side where-
You know when we would have seen where Rodri plays.
When?
I swear this season. This is the boys on the press though. When we say when they play DM. But
So last season where Rodri play?
Rodri.
Yeah.
So the guy be like number 8, number 10. See, City are so dominant.
So who they play
And-
number
and
6?
even- Who?
Who they play the number 6?
Oh, Diaz.
Diaz they play the
Let me
number 6.
position.
Where would they play for?
Wait, find this
Where
interview.
would they play
And this
for?
thing, remember I've said this thing before, that Rodri's average position in the Man City team.
You said he
It's
was
not a
higher
DM.
than. Yes.
Because
And-
the line is high. It
Thank
doesn't
you.
mean that.
God, the line
Because
is
of the
high.
way they play, so he's closer to goal than you would think a DM should be. And
But the other players could.
and only 2 weeks ago, he had an interview with Guy Lineker. And then he was being asked about the sheer number of goals he scores. And he himself, I'll find out audio and they'll put it in the pod. And he himself said that, oh yeah, he's always around the goal. It's almost as if he heard me say, he's always around the goal, and it's almost like he's playing like a number 10. And the centre backs are playing like the DM role because of the way they are dominant in games. So I'm saying it's a credit to the way City plays. And it's been brilliant at my point is Rodri winning the UEFA thing started from the day they gave him the best player of the tournament, which was that one was a clear joke. That was a big false. At the Euros, Bogga. At the Euros. He wasn't even better.
Who was the better player?
He wasn't better than Americ Laporte. He wasn't better than his own midfield partner, Fabian Ruiz.
He made him.
Oh no, he wasn't better than Nico Williams.
He made
But you see,
them.
Nico Williams only had the brand, he's a mobile boy.
them.
See, Rodri was okay, just okay. But there were players who have performed in that team.
Nobody.
They were, it's true. I think so.
I mean,
think
some
he was
would
the best.
argue for Kabin Kaval.
Killer. I said there were players in the Euros who performed better. But that's fine. But when it comes to the FIFA the best, Ronaldo's comments, I read the comments. It's in two folds. It is the way that he ended that raises questions for me. Vini, as we speak, he's become an ambassador to fighting racism. FIFA even got him on
an award last year.
Yeah,
Ballon d'Or.
they even put him on a committee or something.
Last year, Ballon d'Or.
They gave him some, and they even put him on FIFA formed a task force where his opinion would be. So when I was reading Ronaldo's comments, I thought it was circling around what the boy had been through in terms of last. And we can't deny the fact that he had faced these things. Look, I also want to say that some of the things that Vinicius does, you see, it might sound controversial. There's no room for racism. But when you're in an environment where there's a chance that people flip the way they flip, Vinny has to also watch his behavior. Coach has to tell him. Sometimes, the more recent game they played against, he came off the bench, and the fans were not racially abusing him, but they were actually insulting him because he was in the face of the referee, talking to the referee and asking for a card and all of that. He agitates fans. That's the aspect of the game I want to change and focus on the ball because he can be the Ballon d'Or winner for the next 5 years. Yes.
Wait.
Oh yes, he's only going to get better. And this season, he's only going to get better. Who? As we speak now, who is the better player than Vinicius in this season? As we speak now, there isn't one. You can't name one. The only one player that comes to mind. Only one.
In the
current, right now, only one player.
What makes him?
Only one player.
What has he done?
Only one player.
No, but what has he
Only
done?
one player. Name one player.
The one you are
There's only one.
The best player. What has he
They are
done?
4-5. I got mentioned 4-5.
What has he done?
There's only one.
First one, Mohamed Salah.
Yeah, Mo Salah, yeah, that one.
I didn't want to even mention that. The first one, what has he done?
I know you don't put up there.
No, I said only one.
Slotto.
I said only one.
Slotto.
Mo Salah. Mo Salah, they are swearing. They can't play. But you see, so for me, aside all the racism issue, if Vinny Jr., I'm not saying that if you act that way, he should warrant the no. I'm saying for his own progress, his own focus, if he can cut away some of those antics. Look, if you play for Real Madrid and you're helping Real Madrid to win, it puts you 2 steps ahead of your mates.
Yeah.
If you are Real Madrid's best player, it puts you so you should focus on the ball. And when you go to Brazil, you should start performing. Then you can. But me, I agree. For me, it should have been Ballon d'Or winner. Should have been.
Coach, you have something to say on that?
Of course, I have not had one. What are you talking about? Look at this man.
What are you talking?
Coach, you mean the guy? Oh.
No, you see,
What's the issue?
Me, I don't respect the FIFA award.
Why not?
Oh, they spoil him.
How does spoil?
How?
They spoil him.
How?
They spoil him.
How?
Let me answer 30 seconds.
Yes,
I'll
please.
give you the-
Last year's award, the criteria was from 19 December to the time they were doing the award. It was clearly stated in the when you are voting, they've written the person's
The preamble.
achievement down. Thank you very much. Yet Messi won. Messi won for being a League 1's top assist maker and being part of the League 1 team of the season. In that season, League 1 dropped from number 5 to number 6 outside the top 5. And that was enough for him to win ahead of Rodri, a treble winner, Haaland, a treble winner. So
How's that FIFA's fault?
how is that FIFA's fault? How?
Since FIFA didn't give him the award, it was voted for. What's your problem?
It be the same thing.
But he
Yeah,
said
that's what I'm saying.
He said that
That's why the award,
He
you
didn't
know,
say
they
FIFA is
respect
not
them. I didn't say it's FIFA's fault.
Who
I said they spoil them.
Who spoil
But
him?
you got it.
They spoil them.
Who
This is why quality education need. Because
Who
like
won
if they go
Ballon
feel
d'Or?
read. Messi, who won the Ballon d'Or last year? Who won? Who win? I'm saying. Oh,
Messi.
Ballon d'Or.
no,
It
no,
was
no.
Messi.
2022. He didn't win 23. 2022.
2022 went
Was
into
given in
23.
23.
Wait. When Messi won the award,
Yeah.
I know because of the way FIFA they do them.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's different.
Yeah.
The Ballon d'Or that year,
Yeah.
World Cup was part. That one I disagree, but I understand. The FIFA the best for 2022.
He's saying
No, but the
that
Ballon
Messi
d'Or for the
won.
World Cup wasn't
Messi won.
no,
World Cup, the votes actually ended 2 days to when the World Cup started or when the World Cup ended. In fact, the votes
No, that's what Daniel is
2
saying.
days to when the World
The
Cup
Ballon
ended.
d'Or.
Yeah.
No, the Ballon d'Or, the World Cup was part.
Was it?
It was. The Ballon d'Or Messi won. The
That-
World Cup was
the-
part.
when the
What I'm
final
saying
was
is
December
FIFA gives
18.
it in December, right? FIFA actually the best. They do
Yes.
it in December.
Yeah.
So 2022 December, that was fresh 2 weeks after the World Cup. Messi won for 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he won again in 2023 for post-World Cup up until last December, which had nothing to do with any international.
In that period, who won the Ballon d'Or?
That's what I can't remember.
Messi won
Messi won it because the Ballon d'Or is given in seasons. But you see,
Yeah,
It's
I get your
2022,
point.
23
I get your
season.
point.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah,
your
so
point.
in-
it started, then the World Cup punctuated.
thank you very much.
So the World Cup was also inside it. So
Yeah.
Messi won both.
Mhm.
Your argument is that the 2023 Ballon d'Or,
Yeah.
the Messi's top performance fell outside of it and
Yeah.
should not have won.
You shouldn't have.
But you said top assist maker.
In League
Ah.
1.
You see, so friend, the bottom line.
Top assist maker in League 1.
The bottom
What
line.
is your problem?
22 was Benzema. Then Messi
Yeah,
won the-
22 was Benzema before the World Cup.
22 is Benzema.
Yeah.
22 to 23 was
Yes.
Messi.
So,
Uh-huh.
thank you. Me, with all due respect, I see the Ballon d'Or to be a better prestige award than FIFA.
How so?
Oh, but it's there for everyone. Even the mileage, even the euphoria that surrounds the two awards. One is more valuable than that.
How so? Why?
Oh, don't you see the people who vote?
It's 100 selected journalists from around the world.
Both are voting.
He voted for Rodri.
One I'm talking about.
But he
Both
voted
are
for
voting.
Rodri.
It's a fact.
Bring that.
He voted
Why
for
should
Rodri.
somebody didn't vote?
Why are you distorting my thoughts?
He voted
But
for
okay,
Rodri.
coach, Ballon d'Or is voted for by 100 journalists from around the world. FIFA Best is voted for by captains
Yes.
of all
Which
FIFA
is a
members.
better
Hold
representation
on.
of football people.
Captains of all national teams around the world.
The journalists.
No, hold on. Coaches
Do you know
of
that-
all national teams around the
You
world.
know that
And then selected journalists. And then fans.
that is where they dilute it.
We vote for
Which
If
one?
you look
The
at
fans.
the trend of the vote, if we are left with the journalists and the technical brain,
But that is also a more
Who's the
comprehensive.
technical brain? The footballers who play with Vinny are not technical
if
brains.
they are all together,
What are you talking about? You see, don't assume. Again, let's circle back. We are talking about what is. Go and check the voting and look at who they voted for. Everybody is voting for their friend. What are you telling me?
But the coaches are not voting for
I'll
them.
pull you. See, you ever go through Messi in votes before? You ever go through Ronaldo? Charlie,
If
Ronaldo
that
is, hey, Ronaldo and Messi, the two of them.
Bro,
Someday be some Ballon d'Or. I think 2014 or 2015. The one when Messi won for the one Ronaldo won. That was 2013.
2020,
La Decima.
Yeah,
La Decima.
2014. 2014.
Ronaldo go vote give Joao that boy no for
Joao Moutinho.
Moutinho all day the thing inside. Hey Ronaldo, when Messi you know Aguero dey inside, what that is Aguero head Aguero dey inside. The one you go take vote give the honest
bro.
But are journalists also not? Oh, sorry.
So fine.
Go on.
Okay. So for me, if you put aside the vote and you see football the way I see football and the way football is supposed to be seen, I mean, you know my style. I will always vote for that player
They like
who is
talking much.
always an untouchable. That player who, when taken out of the block, completely collapses the block. Rodri has shown that by his performance, how dominant he has been. Look, he's not been in and out of games. That is how consistent
Okay. Consistency.
he
But
has
what
delivered.
about individual influence? Game winning
And I'm saying that
performances.
nobody has given more game-winning performances than Rodri.
Let me ask him a question.
Nobody.
Let me ask him a question.
Who has excited?
2021 Champions League final. Who won the game? Who scored the goal?
2021 Champions League final. Kai Havertz.
Kai Havertz. Who was man of the match?
N'Golo
Kante.
Kante.
Who was man of the match in the semi-final?
Kante.
N'Golo
Who was
Kante.
man of the match?
Quarterfinal.
Quarter-
Kante.
Did he score a goal? Did he score a goal in those
No.
5 games? Yet he was the best player in those
But
5 games.
Kante is next level.
Boga.
Was next level that year. In fact, it was robbery that N'Golo Kante did not win the Ballon d'Or that year.
What I saying? The guy was injured and came last 4 games of the season.
The last 4 most
Why be
important
Ronaldo?
matches.
Why
He wasn't even play league. He didn't play league. He
So
save him
for
for
me-
Champions League.
If there is Rodri,
Nah, I will not use
and
Chelsea
there is
example
Vinicius
for you.
I don't know why you vote
No,
for
but
a
wait,
player.
wait, coach. So I reminded me. Somebody still make an ask.
Well, ask me.
Yeah. Mention the Brazil boy name again. Vinicius what?
Juniors.
Whether you junior, if I don't like you, I don't.
Sometimes he mentions like Vinicius genius. So
Yeah,
Africa say that time so Africa say like coach they believe the guy. So like Vinicius the genius. You know,
Vinicius Junior, I don't look. Somebody who when he goes to his national team, he shine like that. Why he for win Ballon d'Or?
So Partey no know play.
Party.
That's why he's not
That's
winning.
it. Look, if you don't win, you are no.
But Party wins something.
It
No,
not be-
just it's only Bob Ballon.
Me see. When you are voting for a player to win these prestigious awards
Across board.
across board,
Mm-hmm.
it has to be holistic.
Holistic.
You cannot
Pass him.
pass one area and stake a play. The Ronaldo, those people who are stating the Real Madrid fraternity who are stating the play for Vinicius. I sure give them. I sure.
Like I saw.
Look,
I saw.
Atu, if you look at the season under review, how can you win the world? How?
Even Bellingham say.
I mean,
Bellingham Charlie the way they Real Madrid now okay. They have their own.
Madrid
You do some drag back yesterday.
Bellingham.
Look, I sure.
Hey Jude.
There's somebody in that team who did better holistically. What level? National team. The man went to South America. He couldn't even hit the bar.
In fact, he sabotaged his team.
I'm telling you honestly. The pole doesn't move.
Doesn't move.
He can't even hit the bar.
If you hit it well,
Go.
it will enter.
Look. So for me, they are just talking about what he did at Real Madrid, And the season under review included those prestigious continental competitions. He flopped. He flopped
Big time.
big time. If you say such a person should win,
Yeah, because it's happened before.
I condemned it before. That's why I'm condemning it now.
Okay.
If you pick Rodri,
You see, you are a very dishonest guy. You have been telling you.
Why?
I've been telling
Why?
you.
Why?
I've been telling
Why?
you.
I've
been telling you.
Why?
Mention when it happened. When it happened, you condemned it. Yet because Vinicius Juniors is your friend, you are saying
Vinicius who?
Juniors.
Genius.
When it happened, I didn't condemn.
You didn't condemn it.
Go on.
You didn't condemn it. How
So
did you?
therefore-
Coach, go on.
So therefore, I mean, when we are voting, why would you vote? It's all about hey, dodge ball.
Dodge ball.
But that's how we voted for Ronaldinho.
Don't do that. Don't ever do that.
By you.
That's the only player who plays football with a smile.
Why? That's Vinicius crying.
But the most entertaining footballer on the ball now.
It's Vinicius.
Junior.
It's not true.
Just like Ronaldinho
It's
was
not
in
true.
the
Who is? It's not true.
It's not true. It's not true.
I enjoy watching.
Salah is more entertaining. Salah is more entertaining. Mbappe.
It's okay.
You see the crowd walk out. The way he sit down and go
It's okay. It's okay.
Mbappe.
You see the he do the he sit down and go.
Rodrigo.
No problem.
Rodrigo.
You see the crowd walk out.
Musiala.
Hey, you see the
Musiala.
Listen,
Twinkle toes.
let me make my point.
Hey, you see the crowd walk up. The way he sit down the goalkeeper, he just do one step over. The goalkeeper they need.
Which game?
Oh,
You say club World Cup. You see you're a liar.
That is the
It's
most-
called Intercontinental Cup. It's not club World Cup.
whatever.
That is the most useless game.
And the shop, the most
That game is
the
the
most useless game.
So if no sit down, that undo the sitting down the goalkeeper.
That is the most useless game ever. I'm telling you, that is
Wait,
organized by
that
FIFA. Zuku game.
Zuku game.
The point I'm making is
Useless.
this guy was a complete flop. Copa America. So why are we looking at him as somebody who should be winning the Ballon
He
d'Or?
played three group games. Would that be all?
How?
Group games.
Look, the Ronaldo who spoke for him when he was winning,
Via Belly Ronaldo.
yes, the one of the big stars, the original Ronaldo.
Nazario.
Ronaldo.
Why is your
Incoming-
what's why is your
Incoming Brazil FA president.
The point I'm
You
making
lose the election.
when he spoke, I'm one to say, when he was winning the Ballon d'Or, what Vinicius did, that was what he did to win the Ballon d'Or.
Yes,
He won
that's
the
your
World
question.
Cup to win the Ballon d'Or.
And this one can't even play.
This man cannot even play semi-finals.
Knockout round. You say play
In the
quarterfinals, so you don't mean ball.
He can't play quarterfinals in the final. He should be winning the Ballon d'Or. So for me, look, thank you. Those who voted might have voted. But if you respect football, and you respect football, and you understand chop, drink, sleep, put up football,
Like the coaches,
like the coaches,
like Otuado.
the people coach.
Otuado go vote for Rodri. That will give up.
No.
Say that what is sad.
Today,
Now coach when if it's called Sudan and Zambia, Sudan and they can't tell me
that
say
one said, it's because he listened to me, that's why he voted for Rodri.
coach where he can't score Angola and
He's
things.
listening to me. That's why he
You be
voted
coach
for
where for take your opinion on who
Now you see who Augustine Guavon go vote for. Augustine Guavon,
That's
Nigeria.
why he signed the Lusula against
Go
Lesotho.
vote for Messi.
So for me,
Today, they vote for Messi.
the best player, the best player,
Can we pivot back to the subject of Otuado,
he's been
his
listening
choice
to me.
of vote?
But he voted
And
for.
why the Ghana captain didn't vote?
There was no vote for.
He didn't say-
FIFA crowd is confused about who your captain
don't even
is.
No, like FA has to submit a captain.
Yes.
And we didn't.
We didn't vote. Our captain's voters slot was nil. That's
Portugal submitted.
you didn't know.
You see
Dash,
the level
dash.
of- That is why
Dash.
you see the disrespect
Dash.
given to Thomas Partey.
Dash.
Very disrespectful on the
Dash.
part of people at the end.
Dash.
He's the captain.
Ghana
of the
captain.
team.
Dash. No vote, coach. Ghana captain. Dash.
Okay.
But wait a minute. That one safe is on way because
They voted give Andre.
they have not. Yeah, thank you. They have not. They said in the absence of Andre, as in if Andre is not in camp, that was a communication.
So
Partey
Andre
is captain.
The captain.
So
There was no
Andre is
finality to-
yeah. So Andre is still the captain of the
So
Black
I'm
Stars.
sending the thing to vote.
And you know the
They didn't do it.
So for me,
How did they?
Rodri,
But they would
He's
have
the
voted
best.
for Rodri.
They didn't be drawn.
Oh, they didn't go vote for
The way
Rodri.
like they dribble, they be it's really quick.
Oh no.
Rodri is the best.
Quick.
So
Rodri.
Vinicius, you should go and take this one. The Copa America, where they play it every 2 years.
We've gone back to 4.
We've gone back to 4.
They've gone back to
Or we did 2 now.
They should
for-
go and
for
play
the
for
camp-
him.
No, after we gave Messi we managed to give Messi trophies to. I think I returned. We had to play playing to that Messi movie.
So he has won the 2.
I've
This
heard
one, so
they-
we are
they
going
show-
God, come on, guys, every player every 2 months.
Every 2 months, they go do it. They do they take the team to
Okay,
Argentina.
guys, let's move away from the Ballon d'Or conversation. Coach, your good friend has gone to grant an interview. Rashford says he's ready for a future with that Man United.
He's called Rashford.
He said he's ready to move. He's ready for, in fact, in his own words, he's ready for a new challenge.
That was the day when I heard the
Sir
comment
Marcus.
yesterday.
What do you want to do with the ball?
When I heard the comment yesterday, I said, wow, thank God he has seen the light. Oh,
Why are you people so in a hurry to see the back of the boy?
he has seen the light.
He served this club for 9 years.
Nobody has questioned.
Since 2015, right?
For 9 years, we can count the good ones in life. Mohamed Salah has been at Liverpool for 9 years.
He came in 17, 18, no.
You've lost
78.
7 years.
You know me.
You can't count.
Hey, how?
You see,
No,
you
8
can't
years.
count.
No, this is 8 years.
Yeah, so you can't count the bad ones out of it.
No, there's no not single one.
You can't mention one bad thing.
Not one.
Even when he was having so-called bad thing, he scored 20 plus.
Yeah.
But it's
This
not that he was bad last season, man.
This boy,
Rashford.
Rashford,
Rashford.
If this club is in charge.
Marcus Rashford.
Marcus
Sorry.
Rashford.
Yes. Mention his name well.
What is how talented? Shock.
I mean, they said he was the future.
That is why the English people will call him. But those of us who know proper talent, who will see one, we never describe that as a somebody whose strength is only about running past him. He can't control a pass. He can't dribble anybody. Kick and let's run. He cannot survive under the Amorim tactics. There's no place in that team for him.
Really?
So he's a goner. If I'm the coach, he's played his last game by granting that. Who told him that? No, the likes of Ryan Giggs, David Beckham, Wayne Rooney, during their days at United, even Ronaldo, the greatest United player ever in Madrid, he's been dropped before. And when you are a good player, every good player, when dropped, will respond on the pitch. You don't go granting interview, running away from being dropped. You look at his
I
performances.
really wonder where he found the space to do the
Oh,
interview.
it is a planting. The man has got people all around him. He's a planting. He went
Charlie,
to call that general.
you are not trying about fighting your way back into the team, no.
No, clearly it would be something advised by a PR company.
Yeah,
Because immediately after doing the donation, then you go and sit for the
shock.
Fine. Let me learn.
Land.
I would have thought he would sit down with his people. The footballing reasons for which he was dropped,
How do we address it?
were they correct?
I think he recognizes that. What?
You've been bombed
Mhm.
against, what is the name of the team?
It was Man City.
No, the Europa League.
Oh,
Victoria.
You couldn't even control.
No, Victoria.
Piazzan,
Victoria.
Victoria.
Piazzan.
Pilsen.
Pilsen. I will not bite my tongue because of those non-English words.
Victoria is
Look
English.
at Rashford's performance throughout this
He
season.
was working.
When he loses the ball, he walks. The manager is saying, press, body language, very arrogant.
Yeah. That was the game before the City game,
I
right?
would have sacked him.
Wow.
So for me, the footballing reasons for which he was dropped, just
Okay.
he's a loser. That is why, together with his people, they cannot lose. Put the clips of the boy down. There's no football person around him. But if somebody like me was around, I would say, come on, sit down. Let's watch your clip. Yeah, what's that? Yeah, Obo Modern, Butum Banza, Zuku Neai, Yakari. I would have used those words to describe
Yaka.
the face. Then I would have said, look, sit down. What is that? Do you think Alex Ferguson with all the things he's done? When
have
Man
lasted
United is training, then he's gone to the disco in Scotland, then he's drinking liquor, holding women's the manias. Do you think Ferguson would have tolerated?
come to training drunk,
Come to training drunk,
and you say sorry. Then
and
they
he
say,
says
okay,
sorry.
you
Then
can
the next
play.
moment he's in the team. God will bless Amorim. I've texted Amorim.
Yeah, he told me.
The moment he invites that boy back to his team, that is the beginning of his
It's downfall.
I'm done.
Wow, strong words.
Yes.
DK.
For me, I'm happy. I'm happy because Rashford would have left Man United in 2018, 2019. If I was manager. Long time. You see, when you are making the sacrifices Man United have made for Rashford, the player's quality level and consistency level must be on some certain level. You don't come and tell us that he's on Mbappe because of what you are saying. You should believe it. Mbappe didn't get up and become this person. Mbappe showed working season in, season out, major competitions. The team could rely on him. He would carry you. So today, if Mbappe is going through a rough patch now, you can relax because he's Mbappe. You understand? Messi, Ronaldo, big players like that. They've earned that right. Rashford hasn't done anything during his Man United career that players look at Nani. Nani during his time, you see, the standards were so high. Nani, when he has one bad game, he's in trouble.
Yeah.
Like, Nani was top assist maker from what's 2011. 2011, the time when the collar A oranges.
Yes.
The collar one.
That was the one he
Yeah.
crossed.
2010,
Thank you. He was top assist in the Premier League that season. That season safe. Now it is, because the standards were so high. Like, we have seen players play on that left wing. Martial's first season at Man United. 19-year-old okay, we won FA Cup that season. Okay, like, we've seen players and we've seen talent level. I always used to say this, even in terms of talent, Rashford is not more talented than Martial. It is the art, and if you remember, in fact, let's cast our minds back. Mourinho's first season with Man United, when he threw a challenge to Anthony Martial, if you remember, that was the second. The first season, Anthony Martial was sitting on bench, and Mourinho said that when he plays down the right way, he doesn't work, and Rashford was playing in his stead. That's how Rashford cemented that left wing position at Man U at the expense of Anthony Martial, because that was Martial had just come off the FA Cup winning season. Top guy, Mourinho comes, he's sitting on the bench because he doesn't track back. Rashford got into that Man U team because of his work rate. He was working, tracking. By far, they were using him as an example of players who have come through the academy, who understand what it means to wear the jersey. I remember. Then all of a sudden, when Mourinho, the following season, decided to give him the number 10 jersey, and he became a star. That's when he started waiting for the ball. He started walking some way. He started, when he uses the ball, he is walking, he will not track back. They go sack Mourinho where Ole come. Ole come, he go score that wishy-washy penalty against PSG. You see, sometimes go back and watch that game. That match was Lukaku. That match, any United fan that watched that game, it was United were poor. Lukaku was prolific, half chance, or say. Rashford was usually frustrating.
They have chance, no? They play short to good tapping.
If you have chance. You see that be striker. No. Let me before you come with hey. If it was the other way around. If it was the other way around, this guy and Lukaku took that shot. Rashford no get that sense say you go follow through. You no get that sense say you go follow through. You no get that sense say you go follow through.
That's not what I'm trying to get clarity.
Yes. So now you
have clarified it. It's okay.
So you have clarified. Let's go on.
Let's
go on. Let's go on.
Who gets the credit?
This guy, he like too much.
But no,
the movement is what makes it a chance. Now, how is it a chance? Why you just he appeared?
The problem is that Ticho, no, he likes to be.
The two goals, the first one, he went to dispossess a defender. He tracked back off the ball, won the ball of the defender.
Give it to Rashford.
Went to score, dribbled the keeper and scored. Yeah, that game.
When I say, the goal is scored, when the ball put
Being clinical involves being at the right place.
So then I don't want to ask say you say it be half chance. We are saying why then the ball it didn't right for it be some angle. I don't that's why they ask you. Don't be say so they wonder when you talk say that
you continue half chance. Lukaku scored
but you just
Then you go watch Lukaku.
Kuski.
I said that game. I don't say look man be this thing. Look who's they try. You know, sir. If look who's
that game I mean the year makes some low saves.
Some low saves. Look who's doing it. A low penalty, the guy scored all of a sudden. All of a sudden. You see, that's the power of narrative. When the people want to project you as a star, you need to do the bare minimum. That's what it is now. The bare minimum. So Rashford scores a penalty, and all of a sudden, he's the hero and the star.
Nobody talks about it.
Meanwhile, what was happening in that second half of that season when Ole came? Lukaku was being played out of position, and Lukaku ended that season with more goals and more assists. Being played out of position than Rashford and that Lingus and the other boys. Pogba, who was playing for midfield, ended the season with more during the period that Ole came, with more goals and assists than Rashi. But that one penalty, all of a sudden, Rashford was the poster boy.
Was that one penalty 11 in a row? Or that was the beginning of the 11?
No, it was after the 11. The 11 go N plus Burnley when some trouble started. Then PSG came to score 2-0. They went there 1-3-1. Then thank you. What I'm saying is that the very things that Rashford stood on to break into this Man United team, he's no longer doing that. And the talent level has never been on a world class. Never been. It has never ever been. Rashford is not that player and has never been that player where back against the wall, you give him the ball. It has never been like that. Yes, he has scored winners. He has done his part. But he has never been. And see, let me just use this as an example. If Rashford was really on that talent level, if he was really that good, there would never have been a time during his international career as Man United star boy, true star boy, number 10, and you are not able to break into the first team of the national team. It would never happen. And no, you see, I'm not saying there are certain things that happen, and then people there's backlash. People don't understand why the coaches do. For example, this Copa Amato, throughout the whole competition, people didn't understand why Copa Amato didn't get. That's different. Rashford's nobody complained because everybody could see Sterling was better. Raheem Sterling, well, everybody is installed something safe. No, Raheem Sterling levels above. It be something we did. Rashford's talent level has never been on. So the day he started slacking with his work rate, walking around the pitch like he's Mbappe, that was the beginning of the end. And unfortunately, you see, that's why I picked my mind for him long ago. Unfortunately, no, he believed what he read in the papers. He believes that he's on the level of Mbappe and Co. He believes that it's just some bad period. If I score some one goal, all of a sudden, the star boy will come back. He actually believes that. That's why he can get up and be granting interviews like that. And it has also been fueled by the nonsense of the Man United board. And Hagi, that last season, 2 seasons ago, after that season where he scored, and you know the funny thing for that season? The time where Rashford scored 30 goals that season, when he hit 25 goals, they were celebrating it that he has outscored Man United's top scorer the previous season. Do you know who Man United's top scorer the previous season was? Cristiano. That was Cristiano Ronaldo's worst goal scoring record. Worst since he won. In fact, since he finished on the Ballon d'Or podium in 2007.
Yeah.
That was his worst. But you are celebrating the worst as you know, you coming of age.
I think in the Ballon d'Or he scored 42.
No. On the podium, I'm saying the one Kaka won. The one Kaka won, and Blatter told him to work harder and he should switch places with Messi. No, that's a Blatter guy too. He had always been suspect, but we couldn't see it. So how can you tell somebody work harder? Next time work harder and tell him to sweep it. But
that yet to be fair, Pele said that he believes Ronaldo will come back there the next
year. No, I be Pele there,
with the Ballon d'Or.
But those who
understand for those who know, they know. That one we all know.
I remember like yesterday. Pele said that he believes that Ronaldo will be back
here. He knows, Pele knows.
And he came back the following
year. He came back and he never left.
But that's besides it.
Yeah.
He scored 30 goals last season. And those 30 goals, you see, the funny thing is, the second half of the season, he was playing as a number 9. When Ronaldo was sold and Vegas came, Rashford was now given the room and the liberty to play straight down the middle. And every chance was being given to him. So he scored a high percentage of mine. You know, be say like, you
He was extremely clinical.
But that was the job he was given. He delivered.
But you see, when you score 30 goals in a season, after all these years, you score 30 goals one season, and all of a sudden, it's enough for you to trigger a 300k renewal.
Meta.
Then
What's the name of that guy?
Meta. And then I always say that, Lucy, footballers, no, they are not some different type of human being.
No.
They are like me and you. Let's go back to school. When we were in school, we all knew who the smartest people in our class were.
Of course.
We all knew. Well, we also know the people they shine.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody every day he dey chop fit for class test inside, and the person who has been chopping first every time, they just give him a handshake, and all of a sudden the person who has chopped fit is getting money and cash now. How do you expect the person who has been chopping first all the out to feel? There was Bruno in that team who had spent 3 years before Rashford came to chop. Bruno was playing for midfield and I was scoring Rashford and I was assisting Rashford season after season after season after season. Then the one time that you do 300, your face is all over the place. They are putting you everywhere. Star boy, the guy actually believes that
he's the guy.
He's the guy. But you see, just like I said it when Lingard was leaving Madrid. I said it when even McTominay said, you know, be deep like that because McTominay, he McTominay, he knows who he is. That boy, they love that boy. He know him body. He knows
like his level.
But if you call me, I'll do what I can do. But when Lingard was leaving Man, I said at the time that the pressmen, the pundits who were sitting there telling Pogba and Co to be learning from Lingard's attitude and look at what they are doing, put them all on the transfer list and see the type of clubs or the sort of clubs that will come. Rashford is leaving Man United. You see, life can hit you tight to shock you. Why ask Lukaku? Lukaku thought he was him. He thought he was him. He went to fight with Chelsea. And now, if you know the old Paddy Conte who came and gave him a call and said, you did come home.
Like no team wanted.
Anka, you will see. He went to Roma under duress. He didn't want to go. He went there. He went to Napoli under duress. Look at Osimhen. See, boy, understand that you do, but you don't reach like that.
Yeah.
Rashford will leave. We will see the clubs that will come for him. And even if he gets any top, right now they say Chelsea. Chelsea, if you are going to Chelsea right now, you are going for less of a, you are going to take less pay. You are going to sell your soul.
Goals. Yeah, you don't get money to pay you. Figures.
You they sell your soul. You they go 8 years. When Chelsea was 7, no give him 7, 8. You chop out 27-year-old who still is a youngster and who is still is potential. Look, for me, Man United should have cut their losses long ago. Okay. Long ago. The talent, the guy just no reach. He just no reach.
That's a fair point. Thank you, Danike. You poured your heart out.
Rash.
Sicho and Achu, do you have something else to say about that, or should we move on?
Look, I think the Rashford problem is a Man United problem.
Right.
And I'm looking at it in a different scheme because no team needs all its starting 11 to be world-class footballers.
Yes.
Now, Man United over the time, for every young player who has come to the club, they have been badly managed. You see, I think Rashford's talent for a white player is good enough for the Premier League. It's just fine.
Okay.
We saw Raheem Sterling when he burst onto the scene. Right? At Liverpool, he was raw. Ball gets stuck in between his feet. Poor at finishing. But when he went to City, he was properly managed. Mm-hmm. We've seen a player like Martinelli. When he came to Arsenal, another raw talent, runs with the ball.
Still is.
His talent has never been world class, but he's been properly managed. So he's able to, as a player, even though he's not the most effective, He's functional. No, he's functional. He has his downtime. Martinelli is a player that you can have on your bench.
That's right.
No, he's not.
He's way
No,
better.
he's not.
He's way better.
No, he's not. So what I'm saying is that Martinelli's talent is not Mbappe and Lamine Yamal,
No.
but he's been managed properly. Look, Anthony Martial went through Man United. In fact, his scouting was wrong in the first place. They couldn't manage Martial. And that
You
is
mean
because,
by couldn't manage? I think you mean they couldn't improve him. Let's put it that. Or
only
manage him like what?
managing the talent,
Okay.
behavior, because
Okay,
they come to the club very young,
Okay.
so the right word would even be grooming.
Grooming.
Under Sir Alex Ferguson, Rashford would have done fine. Do you know the number of players who play under
The
Ferguson?
flesh I know shaming now fine.
You
Now
see, it
Rashford.
is grooming, and Ferguson is able to groom you to know that Jesus Park was Man United at Man United. He was the most flamboyant player, but Ferguson is able to manage talent to accept certain roles and play significant roles at the club. You catch. So, and you mentioned someone like Nani. When Nani was coming to Man United, I tell Nani, people talk say,
Ronaldo.
they say Nani be Ronaldo Junior, bro.
New Ronaldo.
Yeah, you know.
Where they do things.
Yes, but at some point, Nani even knew that he has to settle for a place on the bench, and when he's called upon, he has to. But what Man United have done in the last years
So excellent management of Nani.
yes,
Excellent management of Baby.
Oh, but baby, no be.
so
Why the Adam? Oh, the man.
no,
You know, you go
why
back, you get Josh McEachran them, so you know.
Lucas Piazon.
Piazon them.
Baby! Hey, you remember Baby?
No wait, so not all
You
players,
know the dead wood and come out from your team.
not all players will
Now,
make the cut.
now you go play
Afcon.
right at the
Cabo
band
Verde.
guy.
And then banner. No,
Oh,
look,
God.
not every player will make the cut. Obviously, not every player. But I'm saying that
Being them ban or every day.
for the talent of maybe the striker,
They strike.
for the talent that Rashford has, for me, it is not bad. He would have thrived under a team, and it is not a coincidence that players like Martial have come through the ranks. Their career have been some way.
Yeah.
Just Lingard came through the ranks predominantly post Ferguson. Some way they couldn't. You see, Man U as a club over time
Say Happy Bands the ball pass.
you see, if Happy Bands played at Man United at the time Rashford burst onto the scene, it would have been worse. If Mbappe burst onto the scene in Man United,
Go left.
it would have been worse.
You leave.
His talent, nobody will even spot the talent well because he won't progress. See, United have consistently built terrible teams around all the players. All of them have suffered, including Rashford, including Martial, because of Rashford, the club can't even sign a proper left winger because Rashford will play. But under Fergie, he will bring in a left winger. Tell you that I trust that you can do better. That's the standard. So a player like Mitoma could have been at Man United. A player like Mbappe could have been at and Rashford will be there. You be on the bench, you come on and so the club Man United they have a problem. Whenever that's why I told you play like Kobe Menu. I'm giving him maybe
He's a bastard this year.
Yeah, I'm giving him like
Make you know work hard.
I saw Daniel was very frustrated until the last
No.
game.
no,
They
it's
played the game in slow motion.
see, one of the
But
last
it's
time.
this we have discussed. It's just
Yeah.
now I was tweeting.
One of the last time Man United got a gem in the last 10 years, and they were able to groom that gem.
Whether
See,
purchased or from the academy.
yes, one of the last time. Like
Greenwood, if you go do your.
Yeah, I think ultimately, I think
United
ultimately,
knew its peculiar off the pitch issues. In different clubs, they protect these players. They put them in a certain bubble. They make sure they are assets. So they pay extreme attention to them.
the thing that supports the point you're making is that when was the last time a top club like Real Madrid or Barcelona came after a Man U player?
Yeah, and look,
Or a Bayern Munich?
and you mentioned
But it's
you
a
mentioned Real
rarity.
Madrid.
It's not a rarity.
Even in United's peak years, the maximum you name in terms of scenarios where Madrid or Barca came after their players was two.
Well,
No,
Beckham
let's talk about big teams.
We are not saying we will sell.
I'm not saying
They will-
so, even
the
interested.
interest to be there.
I'm
It's
saying
always
that
been
someone like for example, someone like Gabriel Heinz will come and play at Man U and end up at Real Madrid.
Yes.
Someone so it's not even
That was
like
the-
having
no,
a
that is true.
like I'm saying that having a certain quality threshold
I get you.
that is
They
good
came
enough
for-
for
they came
even
for Vanessa.
the Hense
Even Rooney said they wanted him.
The
Rooney.
Hense example was different. when you're talking about real significant interest, it was probably two. Beckham, Cristiano.
That was Van Nistelrooy.
There was Rooney, there was Van Nistelrooy.
Nistelrooey
So
at the time
they
was
have-
spent.
You're not
Yeah,
getting
we
me.
know,
I'm
but
saying
they
that
wanted
like a
Van Nistelrooy
certain
long
quality threshold where even if in your words they are spent, they're still good enough
enough
to
to
play for
So,
clubs
for
like
me-
Real
For
Madrid.
me,
So
Rashford's
much that they'll
problem-
be interested.
Rashford's problem is Man United's problem. And we shouldn't joke. Look, Ahmad's contract to be Ahmad's contract. Oh, they can sell him. That's not the issue. They can sell him, no problem. But selling Rashford doesn't fix the problem that is happening to Martial, that happened to Lingard.
So we are building a
Ahmad,
new era.
no, they've built new areas. I'm saying that the club needs to have. You saw Vinicius Jr. when he came to Real Madrid. You saw Rodrigo. These players have been groomed. You've seen Adagula. You've seen Endrick. This season, Endrick is not playing. Next season, the guy will start. You shot like we've seen Barcelona, right? And even Barcelona now, they are messing up the grooming. See what they've done to Ansu Fati. See what they are doing to Pedri. See what they are doing to Gavi. Lamine Yamal was injured, was playing through injury. Barca 10 years ago would never do that.
Yep.
This year, they are missing the mark. So Man United's problem, and Danny mentioned it, that you see, when you have a player like Rashford, and you are not able to take him to the next level by building a team that is competitive enough to draw the best out of him or make him faster in the team, you can't put all the blame on him. Because truth is, in the time that he's played, the entire club hasn't been successful.
So there are systematic issues.
Look, a player like Bruno Fernandes deserves, by now should have been winning more than he's won in Man United based on what he's done for the club.
Agreed.
Right, every the club. But the club has not been able to build a team, right? That projects what he does more to take him to the level. People are talking about Rodri then. If Mayu built a team and Bruno was giving the assist and scoring the goals, Mayu player, City player, can by now Bruno be Ballon d'Or winner.
Yeah.
The same number of assists and goals. But the club has problems. Back on Rashford to wrap it up. I think he has off the pitch issues.
As well.
Seriously. He's never been the same player since. And I don't know why. Since he started his advocacy, I don't know if that was taking his attention.
Yeah.
Because
He's
before
more
his
important.
advocacy,
He's more interested in the praise that comes on
no, seriously,
for who he had.
and the job he was doing was brilliant.
Was he the one who was feeding the people?
Yes, the school
Then
feeding
he got
program.
locked up.
It was,
time.
COVID time was brilliant. But from that time, it's been worse, unfortunately, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
But that's not something the player himself should be involved in because you've got a team. It could be your name, it could be your face, it could be your brand, but you've got a team that's working on it. So, the worst thing for Rashford to have done was to do the interview because it puts Man United in a very terrible place. Rashford, whether you like it or not, is an asset. Right now, everybody knows that the player wants to leave. You want to sell him.
So we lost a bit of bargaining
You've
power.
lost, So if I'm United, I'm angry.
Yeah.
Because so many players have had discussion behind closed door with their team that next season I'm leaving. And you're like, oh yeah, next season we'll find you. If you find a club. That is under G. So they'll package the material as if we don't want to sell, then they can get.
I get you.
But when you start telling everybody that you serve, you want left, if you left, nothing small. But if you
When
challenge,
a team is coming to make an offer,
they know Man United can't tell them to pay the 15 million. Or yeah, why should you pay 15 million? His best bet would be to go on loan. I'm not sure any club in the world pays money. And Rashford, I'm not sure he's going to give up on his wages like that. So maybe loan deal, split cost of his wages, and then something. But Rashford himself will look back on like in the mirror and think he's missed a great opportunity. He doesn't work hard enough. He's not improved. His attitude on the pitch is terrible. But I think Man United as a whole, as a club, should look at why almost all the young talents that have come into the club in the last 10 years just do not crack on.
I mean, and on that point, while he was just speaking, I was just thinking, like in the last 3-4 years, I'm just looking at, people say I like to see Chelsea a lot, but it's also the truth. Though. I just thought about like the last 3 years alone, Chelsea, the sheer number of players that have left Chelsea to clubs that are relatively, let's say, above that level, like Barcelona or Real Madrid, it's crazy. Like in the last just 3 years ago alone, and these are all players that have improved after coming to Chelsea. Have become better. You understand? So like Rudiger.
Let Rashford go.
Very good example.
Who else?
Sorry?
Who else?
Even the ones that were average, like Christensen ends up at Barcelona. Left back Alonso ends up at
Context
Barcelona.
for those two are different from Rudiger.
You know, that's the Heinz kind of example. Those ones are the Heinz kind of examples. No,
Rudiger was signed as someone you know had the quality to play. Even if Real Madrid had economic issues, for which reason they were going through austerity, and so they're working with a skint budget, and they can't afford the top players. He's still someone who you could look at and say, beyond the economic argument, the quality is there.
What about Christians?
For Christians, you really think Barcelona, when they get out of this austere period,
Wait.
Christensen at the point where
Chelsea offered Christensen a deal. He rejected it because Barca was coming to sign him.
I'm
He waited
even
a lot for
shocked.
free. What are you saying?
there was, I'm not denying that, but I'm just saying, if you look at Barcelona, at the
Barca
time,
had the money.
they won't go for Christensen.
Christensen at the time.
No,
At the time they bought him,
they won't go for
The Barca
Christensen.
standard.
What is Barca standard?
They would not.
It's proper standard.
But
What are you saying?
He's
He's Barca defender, proper Barca defender. True and true. No, you don't get it. Abajara Piqué was not any good player at Man United.
No, but
for Barca, he was immense.
He
wasn't
came from
playing
the
enough.
academy.
No, you don't get
But
it.
they knew him.
You don't get it. Like he wasn't.
But
he wasn't
even
good
if
enough
you are
to play
looking
Man
Barca
for
United.
the
wouldn't have spent
Rudiger
money
kind of
on
example,
Christensen.
before
They wouldn't
Rudiger
do it.
was Hazard.
You don't get it.
I get it.
fair enough.
Chelsea offered
So
Christensen a
it's
deal.
like you
He
can't
said
have
no.
one at
I'm
Man
going to
United in the
Barca
last, I don't know, forever.
Look,
But the fact that he's on their scouting, he's on their sheet to be
They
considered
wouldn't
to be
have
bought,
paid. The point I'm
it's good
making is that
enough.
They won't pay money for him.
Look.
They got him for
And
free.
could you think it's easy? You know the number of players Barca could have bought instead of Christensen.
look,
Before Hazard was Courtois.
the reality is this: even when conditions are perfect,
Wasa.
you have the right manager in charge. There are certain players.
Yeah.
There are certain players who are beyond redemption for a number of reasons.
Mhm.
Some of them injuries, some of them attitude, some of them because they were just not good tactical fits. It is not always, yes. Look, for all of these so-called young talents, I could give you a reason why each of them did not make it at Manchester United.
That's for the excuse they can have it for all of them.
Even for Ferguson. And you see, when I was telling you the reasons, I mentioned attitude, I mentioned injuries, I mentioned tactical misfits, sometimes even cultural misfits. One of the best midfielders of his era, one of the most gifted of his era, could not fit in at Manchester United when they had the almighty David Gill, when they had the almighty Alex Ferguson, and presumably in United's stable period, Sebastian Veron. And when I listened to the Schools podcast, you know what all the Manchester United players said? They said Veron came to Manchester United at a time he was essentially ahead of the tactical era, because when he came, he was a sort of midfielder United needed and wanted to accommodate in a midfield three. Ferguson just didn't know how to make it work. This is according to Gary Neville, backed by Paul Scholes. So there are instances where you can have an excellent manager, give him a world-class midfielder who's performing for all intents and purposes. He will come and he will flop. He will go elsewhere. He will bang in. Another example of such, not just tactical, but this time I would even add cultural misfits, was Diego Forlan. At the time he came to Manchester United, can you really say the support system and the culture was not in place for him and that the manager was bad, or the administrative setup above him was not good enough? But it did not work out. He ended up being...
So how does that, okay, but how does all of that apply to Rashford?
I'm coming. So I'm just giving you a litany of instances where sometimes there is not much you can do. In fact,
Sometimes.
I'll give you other...
sometimes.
Yes,
right?
I'm just trying to give you other examples of from United's great period or stable period. Where
Yeah,
you
but
could not...
Situa's example is that in recent times, that's become the norm rather than the
coming.
outlier.
I am
What you are
coming.
talking about are the outliers
I am
rather than the norm.
Now, maybe talking about very young players. When you buy already established players like Maguire and Co.
It's different.
it's
It's a
different.
different
And-
conversation.
Yeah,
I am
very
coming,
different.
lad.
Veron them.
Hang on. There was Anderson. Anderson was young at the time.
Anderson did well at Man U. He can be an
But
example
he
of a
never,
flop player.
he never matched the heights.
He played well. Injury.
Anderson
He played well.
Look,
Yes, but
Yeah,
injury.
but that's why he said injury.
Injury.
But I mentioned that. Were you not listening?
He bought.
But were you not listening?
Performance-wise, you can't fault him.
But in the
No,
end,
even the
he
two,
did not return the value that United thought they would get.
Seven scored his penalty.
Were you not listening when I mentioned that injury was part of the reasons? But in the end, he could not return the value that United thought they would get. Even for Luis Mano, he did not match the heights that he came to meet. And there are certain players that no matter what you do for them, the peak they can reach is a level below the club's highest standards.
So then, in that case, isn't that the talent issue then? So there's a certain threshold their talent
That
can
they
reach.
can reach. And that takes us to Marcus Rashford.
Okay.
Rashford-
We actually,
Yes, so I just wanted to show you that And you see, Rashford is not only a talent problem.
Okay.
When Danny and Sicho mentioned the Raheem Sterling thing, Sicho especially, what Sicho didn't add was that before Pep touched Sterling, when Rodgers relocated Sterling from the wide areas and played him closer to goal, we saw
Closer to Suarez.
we saw a departure from all of the nonsense, the things that we thought needed to be taken out of his game. Though you could no longer complain about those things because now you could find his natural habitat. And then we started seeing his true colors. Rashford has been moved all over the place. He's played in his preferred. Mourinho told us that this guy, the center forward play, he doesn't have it in him to play there. If you disagree with Mourinho and thought that was his position, he flopped there.
Mm-hmm.
If you agreed with Mourinho that his best place was out wide on the left, over there too, he did not excel. The reality for me is this.
Mm-hmm.
The guy has an attitude problem. In terms of quality, I don't think in the period that he's been at Man United, the quality, and you see, I'm not even talking about the outcomes. In terms of the individual talent alone, I don't think Rashford had enough for any of the elite teams out there to look at him and say, he's worth the trouble. I'm going to take a chance on him. And you know why I'm so convinced about this?
Mm-hmm.
In that period, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Barcelona,
mm-hmm.
Juventus,
mm-hmm.
Manchester City,
mm-hmm.
Liverpool,
mm-hmm.
PSG have made significant outlays for right wingers, inside forwards, and center forwards. In fact, some of them decided that they would take players and give them 2-year apprenticeships before they will match the heights of that club and become consistent performance. Here in case, Vinicius Jr. But on none of these occasions did these clubs think that it was worth breaking the bank for Marcus Rashford.
But that thing started
Right. So for me,
United will be selling club. Teams barely, historically, teams
the-
barely come to bid for
the-
Man United players
the-
until United are saying,
the-
like the Beckham. Like,
I mean,
United
United
is a
is a
selling
top
club. It's
club,
like
right?
Real Madrid.
when you get to that level, they will look at you.
No.
When you get to that,
Actually,
you
no.
see, in the last 20 years,
Yes.
in the last 20 years,
Uh-huh.
there are 2 players that reached that level where, in terms of the football status and in terms of the personality, they were worth the trouble.
No.
And
I
both
say-
of
I
them,
say- so let me-
both
I
of
think
them,
ultimately the question is how many other clubs in the world can afford to buy United players? We'll say
they don't
one.
sell. Yeah, so you see, a
One.
player like
Real
Ferdinand,
Madrid.
Vidic, a player like Ferdinand, Vidic,
PSG.
Paul Scholes,
PSG.
Ferdinand, Vidic, Paul Scholes, Rooney. Like,
Look.
United are quality players.
let me
Ever.
look.
Team
But-
came for them. but
No,
United-
like even no teams are not bidding.
No,
They don't even
no,
look.
you don't
You know
afford.
it's impossible.
Friends,
United is
I
a
don't
selling
believe-
club.
At the time,
It is not
they believe United. Why are you going?
Friends,
The only
it is not
club
the same
above
because it is not the same because this Rashford, nobody even looked at him. If he were to be good, and then you could tell that these clubs have vacancies, but they are not bold enough to make the move. Then it would look like when United needed a center forward, and we all assumed that Spurs would not sell because they would not sell Harry Kane because of Daniel Levy. That's a different conversation. The guy met the metrics. He was good. He was in his prime. But United knew that it's a wild goose chase. You won't get him. That is different. Rashford, no wasa. So this idea that, United, if he were to be good, then you could say that, okay, United status
Bruno is having billions since he came to the
United
club.
status is a stumbling block.
Nobody's thinking about
For
it.
me, look,
No, but he's-
I love the fact that Rashford,
that he wants to-
I love the fact that Rashford
No,
is in
sure,
this
man.
situation.
Okay.
What I don't like is that now he makes it very difficult for United to move him on, like Sicho said. And he appears to live in a fool's paradise where there are 1 million clubs lining up to take him. You are on 65,000 pounds a week. How many clubs are going to pay that amount?
115.
How many clubs are going to pay that amount?
You don't
And
have
you see,
money. We'll give you 8 years.
in-
All the money you give it back. We'll give it to you.
You see, in Rashford's situation, what most clubs would do, the trick they would play is what Sicho said. When you go right now, you know the fee is not going to make sense. So you try to take him on loan and then split the cost. After a year or two, the value further drops. It becomes, the club now accepts that, okay, maybe he's found a home there.
Depends. If he goes to balls
You see,
on the loan,
But the statement he
different.
made,
No,
actually,
it is
just-
not the,
actually one minute.
just to answer him.
But the statement he made,
Yeah.
that I'm ready for a new challenge.
if indeed he's ready for a new challenge, like he says,
You go in
he should
January.
not be bothered about his salary.
Eh,
Good point.
challenge the environment.
No,
this guy.
good
He
point.
should not be bothered
Ah,
about
actually,
his
it's a fair point.
It's a fair point, but
He
you
should not be
see,
bothered about his salary.
in answering
He should be
situations,
ready to slash it by
You see,
half.
Yes.
Go.
So if he
And
goes
go
on
and
loan
show
and
us.
balls,
see, in answering Situation's question,
Wait.
if Rashford goes on loans and balls, he still does not have a future at United because he has reached the peak of his earning. United cannot give him an improved contract.
no, I'm talking about buying
The-
club. If
no,
if
you're
goes
talking
on
about
loan and balls, he has
Even-
2 years.
look,
So 1 season to ball,
even that-
1 season to go.
Here's the
Some
thing.
value or
Even that, if he goes on loan and balls, Rashford will be knocking 27, 28 by that time. Right?
Yes.
He's 27
Not bad.
now.
not bad.
Rashford is on 365 now. United will not give him an improved contract. The
Wait,
clubs
leave this
The clubs that can sign him.
But
cannot match
seriously,
his
United,
contract.
you people are paying
And look,
pounds.
Sicho, friends, let me draw attention to something. Mohamed Salah is, for all intents and purposes, the best player in the world this season.
Yes.
But Liverpool are doing everything possible to find a way not to give him an improved contract. Because 3 years ago, Liverpool gave him, I think, 200% increment on his earnings. So now he has peaked. Irrespective of how well he performs, Liverpool know that they can make a one-time compromise, which Salah himself has to be willing to. So my expectation is that when Liverpool are, they either keep it or Salah may accept a wage cut. Across town in Manchester City, Kevin De Bruyne is on £400,000 a week. City are not even interested in offering him a new contract.
No.
That is better. If there's going to be any conversation with Kevin De Bruyne, that conversation is going to be about how low can you go? And De Bruyne will probably say 250 or 300. Even with that, City are going to say, let's do a year with an option to extend for a further year.
Mhm.
So economically, his options are not that great for him to be doing the.
new challenge. What's up?
Here's the other thing: the Ineos, who are managing Manchester United, they do not have time. No, I'm not even talking about the money issue. They do not have the contract they signed with that gives them sporting control with United's owners, the Glazers. It is not for eternity. That's what people forget. So if tomorrow Ineos gets a better offer from someone to come and handle the sporting bits, Glazers get a better offer. Ineos will perhaps retain their minority shares, but they may have to give up sporting control. Those are two separate things. That is why they are beginning to look very ruthless in some of the things they are doing. And it may look like they are penny pinchers. And to a certain extent, I would agree, because if you want to cut contracts and save revenue, you don't do it by cooks and kitchen staff and those people. They don't earn anything, at least in terms relative to the players. So Rashford and players like him are the one area where Ineos can actually save money. So what Rashford is doing now, he's made it easier for United to wash their hands off. The only thing I don't like is that he's made the situation very difficult for Ruben Amorim, because in the week that United have won their biggest game in years, their most credible performance against City in years, then you become the distraction and take away the focus from the game, which is very unfair. And for someone who claims to have been born into Manchester United, growing up, Rashford saw and read Ferguson's posture to things like this. He saw Ole's, he saw Mourinho's, he saw Louis van Gaal's, which was part.
Yes.
When Lukaku gave that interview, that United fans didn't like. And not every other episode that United fans bastardized around the time Rashford first burst onto the scene, Rashford saw it. So when you now
recent one, the Ronaldo one,
when you now said thank you, suddenly are going down the same path that others in the past gave you credits for. That, oh, that's why we want players who were born and bred with Manchester so that they understand the culture of the club. In the end, he's just shown himself. He's just another professional at Manchester United who's fallible and makes mistakes. Good riddance. Eventually, they're going to get rid of him. The only fear I have is how soon they can get him off their books. Because I guarantee you one thing. This interview is not the last we'll hear from Rashford before the season ends.
No.
They say he was the lead.
He's a league.
Yeah, but it's obvious.
He's the one.
How did you know? That's
That's
an
who is misbehaving
accusation.
after being dropped?
That is an accusation. You have no support of that.
I think he's a league.
All right. So that's that on the Ballon d'Or and Rashford conversation. Okay, guys. So that's that.